Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Aquaman. Here's my picture of when I met the very hunky Jason Momoa. I also have this Aquaman print down here. I'm just gonna say, I think that Momoa, other than his, well, rather rugged beauty, was a fantastic choice from the get-go when it comes to the character of Aquaman. What better way to reinvent the rather maligned superhero than to make him a complete and total badass? And a Pacific Islander that makes actual perfect sense for the character. I thought he was great in Justice League, so I was definitely excited to see Aquaman get his own film within this universe. And this was a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, Momoa kills it. I think he is so charismatic, so badass, awesome. He pulls off the laid back, just kick butt superhero that you're hoping he's going to be. It worked so well for this role, and he killed it. I believed him. I love him in this role. I think he's an awesome Aquaman, a great ambassador for the character, and it was awesome. Amber Heard also kicks some major ass in this movie. I thought she did very well in her role. Patrick Wilson, he's eating up that scenery a bit, but I loved it. I thought he was so good. Nicole Kidman has a smaller role than maybe I would have liked, but I also think she does what she needs to do. Willem Dafoe, as a supporting character, does what he needs to do. The acting pretty consistently is rock solid across the board. I also think that the tone is perfect in this film. They really balance out the stakes of the film, the stakes of what's going on, with just a lighthearted, good time kind of action superhero comic book film. And that balance is perfect for Aquaman. It never takes itself too seriously, but it never makes its title character or the source material the butt of the joke. It's lighthearted, it's fun, it's effervescent, and it's just a really good time at the movie theater, honestly. The action is also pretty awesome. Whether it's the hand to, there's a lot of really cool like hand to hand fighting action with Mr. Arthur himself. But then we get these big battle sequences that are also amazing. In particular, I really enjoyed this kind of kooky, kind of out there action set piece that was set under the sea involving like crab people, and it really worked well. I thought it was a blast. It was one of my favorite sequences of the film. But then we get Aquaman versus like big tentacle kraken style monster. There's also this very horror-esque scene, which isn't really a shock when you think about James Wan being the director, but it involves these creatures, its entire city really, in the Seven Kingdoms, that is made of these like devolved creatures that are like terrifying. And the visuals in that scene, the music in the scene, the lack of sound in the scene, everything just adds this like sudden horror element, and I thought it was really cool actually. And for the most part, the visuals are definitely a positive. The world building, for sure, is 100% positive. Atlantis is absolutely gorgeous. The city itself is stunning. All of the effects for the underwater sequences that help build the world or build the animals, build the mythology, it all works beautifully well. And then everything above land I actually think looks fantastic, including Black Manta, who I think was a great sub-villain in the film. I really enjoyed how they developed his story and really folded him into the plot in which otherwise he may seem completely out of place. It worked, it felt organic. So, what doesn't work so well within Aquaman? Well, there is quite a bit to talk about here as well, unfortunately. The biggest glaring negative is the script itself isn't that great. A lot of dialogue is very clunky, and while it doesn't take itself too seriously, the stuff that these characters are asked to say lanes a little bit in and out of cheesy. And it's not helped by the score either. The superhero-esque moments, the action score was fine. It was pretty generic superhero in my book. However, they literally go into this like hokey, bouncy score when they drop a joke. And I thought it was ridiculous. I don't know why they would score these scenes like that and make it just really, really on the edge of cheesy. Because otherwise, the jokes are pretty funny. Aquaman himself is very fun, very funny, and the jokes land most of the time. But then you add in this like sitcom level score and music behind there, and it's like, oh goodness. And then when you loop back around to those visual effects, while most of them are pretty spectacular, I don't want to give them too much on this because it is a very tall task to create humans within an underwater world that's completely has to be made out of CGI effects. However, we definitely got floating head syndrome in the film. And there are many moments where I actually was looking at it and I'm like, is this like Green Lantern where the suit is CG'd? I don't think so, but I can't really tell because it literally does look like, Patrick Wilson's head is just floating around down here. And some of the swimming effects didn't look great. Really, it's whenever people are too immersed into the underwater sequences that I think the effects got dodgy. But again, it was a tough, tough task, so I can't give them too much for that. Overall, they did do a solid job. Also, some plot holes, which I know people just love to hear, really kind of take you out, and it's just about things kind of appearing or disappearing at will. And there's also a bit of logic discrepancy here. We know that this takes place after Justice League because Mera directly references the events of Justice League. And then Aquaman kind of alludes to maybe making this a plan, but honestly, we're starting a war on the land people from the ocean. Yeah, you have a few other heroes that we absolutely know of, including another demigod in Wonder Woman and the Amazons that could definitely help you out in this war if need be. They weren't just attacking this one little place so you could understand why it was so confined. No, they were trying to attack like, the whole world. So it was kind of just like, oh, well, I mean, attack the surface world if you'd like, but we have a whole group of heroes that would probably take you down decently easy. And I guess that's the syndrome of not putting the Aquaman movie before the Justice League. And really, the syndrome after any big team up film is how do we get the stakes high enough that we care, but not too high to the point where they would call in the full team to take it on. I do think Aquaman slightly suffered from that just a bit. I think they should have maybe even referenced the Justice League members and a reason not to get them involved or not seek their advice and help, but we didn't. And again, it's just a minor thing that took away from me personally. And then finally, my last criticism probably goes more into Aquaman and Atlantean lore, but gosh, I guess this is really just a problem with monarchy in general. But the whole defaulting to men thing did annoy me a bit. The fact that only the true king can do this or the true king can do that, that the heir is always a son, or the fact even that one of the kings dies in the film and his daughter is still referred to like as princess and also like referenced as if they're now the ruler. For one, instead of the sitting queen, I mean, she's still on the throne. The same thing even with Arthur's mother being queen. Just the whole defaulting to male heirs, and there can't be a true queen or any of the sort. In saying that, Mera is badass, and they give her a lot of awesome, awesome sequences. Her power is awesome and really well realized in the film. She's no damsel in distress by any means, and is not just there to be a love interest. So I appreciated her character, except for that dye job. Ooh, that hair, they didn't fix it, and I still thought it looked terrible. But other than the hair, Mera, awesome. So overall, I think Aquaman is a ton of fun. It's funny, it has fun, big action set pieces, full of these fantasy-style creatures and superhero action. If you're a fan of DC films or comic book films in general, I think you're going to love this film and just have a great time at the movies. So honestly, I really don't see a reason not to give Aquaman a full price ticket. It needs and deserves to be seen on the big screen, and it's a whole lot of fun. And honestly, I think that's as much as we can hope for from a film about Aquaman. And it delivers on every front that I was hoping it would. So that is my review of Aquaman. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Aquaman? And what is your favorite film in the DCEU? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!